Mercenaries, it's the General, Osama, a.k.a. the Black Jack Bauer, b.k.a. Scrooge McDuckets, c.k.a. Strap God Osama. It's the General back in the briefing room. All right, mercenaries. I just figured that since the big, beautiful bill has been stamped, sealed, certified, and sent on out as proper legislation, I'll go ahead and just do this video for my people who are just now diving into the Class 3 world, trying to get their first suppressor, first can. I'll speak about my experience, brands I like, brands I avoid, in the route I think that you should go in obtaining your first suppressor or suppressors. So go ahead, get your cognac, your rum, your scotch, your Takis, your popcorn, your pistachios, whatever you snack on, Mercs. Go ahead and grab it, because this is going to be a nice episode here for you at the Syndicate. So just go ahead, get your stuff ready, stand by. The Journal has a good one for you. All right, mercenaries, it's the General. All right, let me take y'all back here about 10 years ago. This was 2015, and there was this silencer, or should I say suppressor, that came and took the market by storm. You can call this suppressor Ted DiBiase because it had the suppressor industry in the $1 million dream. Let me tell you, my first suppressor purchase, 2015, Silencer Co. Omega 300 suppressor. This suppressor was one of a kind for its time. Full auto rated 5.56. I think down to a 7.5-inch barrel, 300 blackout, 7.62 Soviet, 6mm Creedmoor, 6.5 Creedmoor, 308, all the way up to a 300 Winchester Magnum. First suppressor of its kind to have a muzzle brake on the end, which they deemed their anchor brake, and also was one of the top premier suppressors to have different muzzle device attachments, or should I say different attachment devices to allow flexibility, modularity of the suppressor to go on different suppressor hosts. As in, it came with a direct thread module for direct thread applications. It also came with their ASR, which is active spring retention quick detach mount, which can go in between muzzle brakes and flash hiders equally. So that suppressor, man, oh my God. That suppressor was only 14 ounces, 100% Stellite made suppressor. Most of your cans are 718 Inconel, and that's most of the blast baffles, and most rifle cans are 718 Inconel. Very durable, reputable type metal. Very long lasting, strong durability, as stated earlier. And Stellite was the next step above. But still today, a lot of suppressor manufacturers are still using 718 Inconel. So Silencer Co., if y'all don't know at the time, was what AAC, or Advanced Armament Company, used to be. Okay? They were a premier suppressor company of its time. And like with every other company, people branch off and do their own things. They taking the good people with them, and then they're starting up their own brands and getting good, people to invest in them. And then Silencer Co. basically said, move over, AAC. We're taking the spotlight now. You have to remember, Silencer Co. merged with SWR, or Silencer Weapons Research. They came out with I believe it's still the best or most sold suppressor in suppressor history, the Silencer Co. Osprey. Real great can. It was different from the time, because most cans were cylindrical, and this can was more like a hexagon, like a offset type shape, kind of like the AAC Illusion, which that's still more round, but just has a little bit more volume in the internal volume. And then the Osprey took it up a notch further, adding with this different type of shape, it added up to about 30% more internal volume. So, with any type of suppressor, the more internal volume they have, the quieter it can perform and make your suppression a little bit more suppressed. So they're coming off that high as their, number one in suppressor for pistol suppressor. Then they came out with the Salvo, the first shotgun suppressor. And that's modular also. You can have it long. You can shorten it. Silencer Code is just on top of the game. And then they came out with that Omega 300. And man, the straw that broke the camel's back. And they just said, hey, AAC, just move on out the way. And then, after that, the Maxim 9 came out. And, other companies came out and started, taking the spotlight from them. So back into the story, mercenaries. Had that on the Scar 17S. Very great can. I don't know why people give the ASR mount a bad rep. I've never had any type of issue of it going down range. I always make sure that, that my suppressor is on properly. But real nice can. Still have it to the day. I don't have a host for it yet, but I'm working on it as we speak. So that was my first rifle can. Then I said, well, let me go ahead and get a pistol can. So as stated, I secured a Silencer Code Osprey 45 along to go with that FNX 45 Tactical. I think that suppressor was made just for that pistol. They look like that they were meant to be. And then I had to go ahead and secure another rifle can for my precision bolt gun. Y'all see it, the AI. So I got the Thunder Beast Ultra 9. And at the time, Thunder Beast, and probably still is the gold standard in precision rifle suppressors. The 30P1 has put Thunder Beast on the map as the gold standard. And then later on in 2015, or was it 2016, I believe? I'll probably say 2016. Could have been said 15, but I'm going to say 16 just for the safe integrity. So the Ultra series comes out from Thunder Beast. And I have the Ultra 9, grade 9 titanium, and I have the direct thread model, and with the insert in there, weighs just over 13 ounces. And without the insert, if you're going with the quick detach, it weighs 11.9 ounces. So you think 3/4 of a pound suppressor, grade 9 titanium, 9 inches long, great suppression. And like I say, that's been the gold standard for precision rifle shooting for a long time now, Thunder Beast. So, long story short again, I said, hey, I need to cover all my bases. So I said, I need to go ahead and get a 22 suppressor. So a few years ago, I went and secured the AB Suppressors Little Bird 22 suppressor. And I always tell people, if you're going into the suppressor game, you need to at least get 3 suppressors. A rifle suppressor, a pistol suppressor, and a 22 dedicated suppressor. And when I mean dedicated 22, that's the only thing that's going on. 22 WMR, 5.7, 17 HMR, things like that. And you need one that's going to be user serviceable if you don't have like an ultrasonic cleaner, to make sure that you can clean the lead buildup that's inside the 22 cans, because that's the enemy of 22 suppressors, the lead buildup from the ammo. And I recommend people getting a separate 22. You can get you a pistol suppressor, preferably a 45. That can go on all your pistols from 45, 10 millimeter, 40, 357 SIG, 9 millimeter, 380. And you also need your rifle suppressor. I would prefer 30 cal. Hit your 30 cal bullet, 7.62 Soviet, 308, 5.56, 300 blackout. And it goes up, you got some that now take like up to 300 Remington Ultra Magnum. So I figured that I always tell people to go that route. You have something that can cover plenty of bases. But I know some people just like, I just want to buy maybe one can that can do it all. So I'll tell them, you can go out and buy a Silencer Code Hybrid 46 or the 46M. You go get your Griffin Armament Bushwhacker 46. You also go out here and get a Dead Air Primal. Any type of 46 caliber bore, where you can also not only mount it on a rifle, you can take the rifle mounting mount out, and you can go ahead and put a Nielsen device, aka a booster, a piston, and a spring in there, or take the spring out and put a fixed barrel spacer in there if you're going to put on a pistol caliber carbine. Now you got a suppressor that can handle both. And I think some of them, if they're user serviceable, and I use for an example, I'm going to say the Bushwhacker 46 is a user serviceable suppressor. You can put that on the 22, take it out, clean it real well, hand clean it if you don't have an ultrasonic. And hey, you can cover all bases with just one suppressor. But just remember, a jack of all trades is a master of none. So that's why I figured people should get something that's dedicated for their three primary weapons, and that they can just rotate from there as they please. But now with the suppressor game has changed so much with these hub mount options, you don't even have to be stuck with a manufacturer's sole where they're only proprietary mounts. You can also buy things like a Dead Air Xeno mount. You can get the Chemo mount. Surefire does mounts with theirs and B&T suppressors. There's just so many options now out here with the suppressor community, making it so advantageous for the consumer. It's just screaming for you just to get into the game now. So thinking about brands that I've acquired over the years, if you follow the channel, I've had them all. I'm an AAC fan, Silencer Co. fan, B&T fan, Thunder Beast fan. I like Surefire. And like I said, I just stay with companies that have been around in the game for a while. Like I said, I do have AB, who is still kind of new on the game. I have the CGS group can. Rugged's been out for a while. I don't have any Dead Air or Griffin. They've been out for a while, but I would recommend those brands. And also your budget brands like YHM, Rex Silentium. Then you also have Gemtech, which is a good brand, but they were purchased by GSL, I think about 2 years ago. So GSL now is selling the Gemtech suppressors under their brand. There's a few other companies out here, like the Banish, whoever makes them, I can't think of it if it's Banish. That's a company, I see a lot of people with those. Who else got a can? Texas Silencer Company. You got like places that have went out of business, like DeGroat, Ops Inc. What's the other brand? Huntertown Arms. And you can still find those on the market, and they're probably like new old stock. People just been sitting on them because people just don't want to take a chance on them because there's no factory support if you have anything. But if you get one for a hell of a good deal, $300-400, I mean, it doesn't hurt to try them out. You might have a diamond in the rough, because a lot of people don't buy bore alignment rods. That's really what you're going to need to invest in if you plan on jumping into the Class 3 suppressor game. You need to make sure that the bores and the suppressor bores are concentric with your barrel, and that you don't want to have any type of baffle strikes that you can obviously prevent by securing a bore alignment rod. So I would always recommend people to grab one of those. Stock up on extra mounts. It's a company I bought some from, not mounts, but they're called shims, that help time muzzle brakes to make sure that they're at the 3 and 9 o'clock position to vent out the gases evenly. So shims are something else that you need to have a good few of in case when you take some off a rifle or put it on another rifle. You might have to add some shims depending on the shoulder of the barrel, things of that nature, and just have extra parts around. So now you do have people, and I'll just use this for an example, Dead Air Ghost, which is their original first 45 pistol suppressor that used to have a wipe at the end. And a wipe is an old suppressor technology. Wipes were, I think, invented back when Hiram Maxim first invented the first silencer. I think he used wipes. But the wipe will basically act as like a extra barrier to help keep the sound in once the bullet travels through the orifice or the bore of the wipe. And after a while, the wipe will disintegrate and, lose its value, and you have to throw it out and replace it with a new one. But years ago, the ATF ruled that wipes were suppressor parts and you couldn't naturally have them anymore. If your suppressor was made out of wipes or made with wipes and you needed another one, you'll have to send it to the suppressor manufacturer. I think they'll either have to put it in or they'll just sell it to you as a part. I'm not really sure on the technicality, so don't quote me on that. That's just going off the freestyle top of the dome with the information. So just double check on that. Don't take my advice for legal counsel representation, because I'm definitely not a lawyer. But like I said, been around the game for a while, and I would recommend people just to get the 3 primary cans: rifle, pistol, and .22. And now's the time to do it. So just think, if you had to buy 3 suppressors, you have to come with an extra $600 just to register them. Now that $600 can obviously get you another suppressor. So instead of getting 3, you can get 4 now, because you got an extra $600 to play with. Look at God, mercenaries. He works every day in mysterious ways. So hopefully this quick little video will keep y'all interested, keep you glued to the tube, and keep checking the general out. I'll probably hit y'all with another video after this one. I'm going to give a quick little shout out to Dr. T. If y'all haven't checked sister out, check Dr. T out. It wasn't that too long ago. She was struggling at about 200 views, and all of a sudden, she hit 300 subs. I ain't meant to say 200 views. I meant to say 200 subs. Excuse me, Dr. T. Then you went from 2 to 3 to 6. Then all of a sudden, she was at 1,100. Then she's at 1,300. I think the last time I looked earlier today, I think she was at 1,800 and has become monetized. So just look at how, things happen for our people, and that we love every mercenary that's involved with the syndicate here. Anybody rocking with the general, affiliates of the general, and just the blessings, that she has provided us with her content. So check the sister out. Congratulations again, Doc. It's the general giving you a fine salute, and congratulations on your achievement. And other than that, mercenaries, stay legal, stay safe, stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous, stay prepared, stay informed. It is the general signing out. Osama out.